Soundbite. All right. Self-love has nothing to do with gaining notoriety, material possession, or money.
It doesn't have anything to do with superficial things like physique or your good looks.
It's about knowing your intrinsic value.
It's about knowing that the people you're around, the environment you're in, and your social status has nothing to do with your core value as a light being.
It's about being free.
Free to love yourself for who you are without looking for outside validation or love from others.
It's about believing in yourself and knowing your self-worth.
It's about appreciating who you are and knowing that you are a work in progress that is constantly evolving.
Day by day gets better and better because wherever you are is where you are supposed to be.
It's about knowing your self-value.
It's about knowing your self-value. It's Love It
Or Leave It.
It's your girl Rashida.
And your girl ChiChi. You know the vibes.
The vibes are known.
Hey.
And we have a special guest on today. Oh So Shrill is on with us today. Hey, say hi to the people. So today we're actually going to be talking about self-love. So defining that, what self-love means to you, well, us, and how we show ourselves love, what self-love does not look like. And then we're actually going to get into some conversation starter questions. I stole some cards from the Ace Metaphor deck. It's actually a date night deck, but there were some questions in here that I felt like we could still provide to the people and get some clarity on as it relates to self-love. So let's get into it.
Okay, so real quick. So Oh So Shrill goes by Promise, y'all. So Promise, where can they check you out at?
So you guys can check me out on TikTok is where I'm mostly active. But I'm also here on YouTube.
Just to let y'all know, okay? Sorry.
I'm also over here on YouTube as well. I go by Also Shrill on both platforms. So please follow me and watch my content.
Real quick, her content is dope. She literally takes messages from movies and will like interpret it through spirit. So y'all need to check her out.
Yeah, I like that. What was it? The Last Holiday, I think. That movie, she did a really dope spiritual, like message through that movie. So it was perfect. I like that interpretation. It was dope. Yeah. Yes, of course.
Okay, so we getting into the self-love. Okay.
I actually want to define like love, even before we get into self-love. Like, what does love mean?
I mean,
to either one of you, whoever wants to jump in.
Bullshit. Headaches.
Pain, heartbreak, headaches. Okay. That's what love means. Wait, what is that? Wow. Okay.
Honey, I'm just playing if you're watching.
Not the heartbreak and headaches. All right.
I feel like love really brings out everyone's soft side. Like I just melt into everything. I'm just like chocolate just melting. Everything is so beautiful when you have that. When you're in love or feeling that love, everything is beautiful. You can see past people's flaws or past the things that you may not vibe with. You can look past it. Love altogether, I think it's just beautiful. I don't know exactly what it means to me yet because I'm still working on myself. What about you, Promise?
So for right now, how I'm defining love is it feels more like God. Just it's like source energy. I feel like love is everywhere. Love is the trees. Love is the messages that I get that gives me chills. Love is like it's just a vibe. I don't think it's any way you can
it's
really
a vibe. I love that.
It's just a vibe. It's like it's something that you can't really describe in words, but once you feel it, you know it.
For real. Because it hits that heart. It hits the heart space like deep. Like when you and love doesn't always have to be romantic. Like I feel like when people hear the word love, the first thing they think about is romance. You know what I'm saying? But love is so much more than that too. Like I think about the first time, well, when I had my daughter, my oldest daughter, it was like I had never felt that feeling that deep, like in your soul love until like I heard her cry. You know, I heard that first cry. I got to see her and hold her. I was like, wow. And I was 23 at the time, so I really ain't know shit about love. And in my life, I ain't saying if you're 23 you don't know about it, but in my journey at that time, I ain't know shit about love. But I felt it like in my heart space, like it just hits you, you know. It's Promise was saying it's like that vibration, you know, like that feeling that you get is like, you know, indescribable.
Absolutely. I think like the word that came to me when you said that was overstanding. Like it's an understanding of like you and source, or you and that person, or like you and that thing, whatever the love is. You guys have like an understanding for each other. Overstanding.
Yeah. I like that's deep.
Yeah, because when I had my first child, well, my first child passed away, rest in heaven. But my second one, I remember holding him and just thinking to myself, because the first one was very traumatic, and that's for another podcast. But when I had my second child, I just remember, thank you so much. I get to keep him. You know, I'm so blessed that I get to keep him and have him. And all I could think was like, this is what unconditional love feels like.
Yes.
It was crazy. And I think I didn't feel that with my first child, because I knew I was going to have to let him go, because I had already known that he was going to pass, you know. But when I had my son, it was, oh my God, my second child, it was like, oh my God. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, and I was like, there's no way that you can love two people as much as you love one person. The love that I had for him was so crazy, and oh my God, like it was so overwhelming that I was like, is it even possible for you to love two people like that? Are you able to love your children and love the person that you are with like that? You know what I mean? Like the way that you define that. Promise, that was dope.
Yeah. And you know, again, like spiritually, like love is the highest vibrational frequency, you know, that we can be on, which is why I feel like a lot of people chase it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to relationships, romantic relationships, but even like relationships with people, you know, friendships, relationships with extended family members, like people still chase that love because, you know, even while they may not know like, oh, love is the highest vibrational frequency, you know, we come from God's source, and God's source is the highest vibrational frequency. So it's like we continue to chase after where we are from, you know.
And I think that has also to do with childhood wounds. Sometimes it's our own lessons that we need to learn from, you know. If you ever notice, some people, they get they trip and they fall, right? And then they see the same thing, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna go around it. I'm the type of person that I trip and I fall, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna step on you, or I'm gonna find a way to go through you, and I keep on having to fall because that's not the way to learn. Listen, you could have just learned if you just went around like the first person did. But it's always those lessons, and those lessons come in different ways. So, you know, it may not come by the same person. You may be chasing love, like, you know, or chasing love in a friendship because you didn't feel that love growing up, and you don't even realize that. I think sometimes it has to do with our own traumas as well, whether it's childhood or, you know, as we get older, whatever trauma we have, whatever we have left unhealed, it's still going to come in, especially if you're ascending. You can't ascend with them wounds.
Yeah.
Be purged out.
Because let me tell you, when you try to do spiritual work and you haven't, you know, heal those wounds. It's like,
Mm.
you know,
Be
on A Christmas Story, right? When Ralphie's like at the top and he's just trying to get Santa, like, let me tell you, and then he gets kicked.
with the foot.
He's like,
Shoot your
sliding
ass,
down. Like, you keep trying to go up, they gonna kick you. Because they like, no, you didn't learn that other lesson, and we keep trying to show you need to learn that lesson before you can get to your next phase. Excuse me.
I'm Ralphie.
I'm Ralphie in certain areas too. So yeah, my ass be getting kicked out.
All that.
I am too, you guys. I feel like I need experience to really understand the love. Like, I can't just see it. Like, I need the experience to go through it, because it stretches my capacity. Kind of like how you were saying, ChiChi, about having like kids, how that it stretched your capacities to where you have more love than you thought you had, or like you have to just kind of like accepting all things that come with it, and every new level, I feel like gives you the capacity to love other people at a different level every single time. So
yes, amen to that.
Okay, promise, coming through with the words. Okay.
Right? With the words of wisdom. I love it. So yeah, so that's what we're getting into, just love, right? But also another layer to that is self-love, right? How do we define self-love? I actually found something though, that I wanted to share about the self-love definition. So I'm going to pull that. Go ahead, ChiChi.
I'll let Promise go. What is self-love to you? I'll let you go first.
Self-love is so many things. Okay, I'll tell you where I am right now. Okay. Right now, I'm in the self-acceptance phase of self-love, of like accepting my inner child and integrating that in, accepting the masculine version of myself that's like, the masculine version of myself is always trying to protect me. So being okay and accepting and allowing myself to protect myself or set boundaries for myself. That's where I am with like how self-love is right now. Like, that's how I define it.
I love that. What about you, ChiChi?
Listen, y'all, we tried to record this last week. It did not work out. I didn't realize that this episode was actually going to be a read for filth on myself. Because I was so uncomfortable filming this, because I was like, I just want to zoom right past this part. I don't want to actually have to look at myself. In this last week, it was crazy to me how much spirit revealed to me, how much self-love I do on a regular basis, but I don't acknowledge it because it's just more like,
is it like habitual?
Yeah, like I guess I got into the routine of doing it in the beginning of this journey, and then afterwards, once you get into a routine or whatever, that's all it is. It's a routine. So it's like this. So I was like, I didn't even want to touch on it because I was like, I don't even think I even give myself enough self-love. But I realized I do a lot of self-acceptance. I'm the type of person that I come into the room and I'm like, I don't care if you like me or if you don't. I love me. I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? That's your own business. I just do a lot where I have to talk myself through. Where I'm at right now is trying to do the mirror technique. I have not mastered that, where you can like sit in front of the mirror and be like, you're so beautiful. Like, no, I haven't done that. Like, okay, I'm still on eyebrow. Like, okay, is it together? Okay, that's it. Enough of the mirror. But
so learning to accept all parts of you, yes, right? In that mirror work.
That was like one of the other things about self-love I didn't realize either, was I walk with my shadow. I walk with my inner child. I walk with my ego. They're not behind me. They're not in front of me. I walk with them. And it was crazy because we watched this on what's it called? What was the one that we watched? Earn Your Leisure. But what was his name?
Oh yeah. His name is Wall Street Trapper.
So he was like, so he was talking about the shadow, right? And how you bring them to the table. He was like, now they don't have the last say, but you bring them to the table so that they don't act out. And so
yeah, surprise your ass.
Yeah. And I went into deep meditation, and it was crazy how many different parts of me there is, sitting at the table. And I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm dapping everybody up, like, hey, we doing this. That's what I'm talking about, But I guess like the definition of it, right, from what you see, whether we Google it in an article or whatever, it just didn't sit with me well. It made me feel uncomfortable because I was like, affirmations, right, is like, I am beautiful, right? So my affirmation, of course, I'm the darker one, right? I'm like, I'm the baddest bitch in this room. In the room, and they come out and they say, I'm the baddest bitch in the room. Damn right you are. Damn right you are. You know what I'm saying? It's not to degrade anybody else, but it is to help me in the way that I think about myself.
Ladies, I'm telling you, you got to be the shit to you. Stop waiting on a nigga to verify whether you the shit or not, bitch. If you the shit, you the motherfucking shit.
But, as I was looking at what they had on the sheets, I was like, oh, yeah. But I don't say it like that. Mine doesn't come out like that. The same way when I'm doing a reading, I try to be all like, spirit is saying. But really, I just want to be like, yo, your life's fucked up right now.
But it could be better if you did this shit. If you got rid of that fucked up ass friend that you got.
Now, you know you can't be hanging out with that bitch.
And your relationship is questionable too. But, it's a little early for that. That's how you really want to be reading. Okay, me and ChiChi, we be veering off. All right. So like to get it back to what we were talking about, self-love is your love for yourself. Like, remember when Cat Williams was like,
talking about, you fucked up my self-esteem. Bitch, it's called self-esteem. It's esteem of your motherfucking self, bitch. How the fuck can I fuck up how you feel about you, simple bitch?
It's esteem for yourself. Everybody has their own definition of what self-love is, and what it means to them. But I do, I'm a little studious, so I want to give you a little bit of a, define it a little bit more if you're still having some trouble.
Wait, you define it?
I haven't.
Okay, so go. You see that sneaky stuff down saying promise. She loves to try to sneak stuff. Like, nah.
No, but self-love for me is like what I had to learn about self-love was putting myself first. Because I had put so many people ahead of me. I can think back to when I was married, and I stayed in my marriage because I knew that my ex-husband loved me and wanted to, be with me, but I didn't feel the same way about him. So I had to free myself. I couldn't stay in that marriage when that wasn't where I felt like I was spiritually. I needed to free myself, and it took me a long time to get there. But I did it. And it's like making the decisions that not everybody around you is going to be happy with, right? But you have to make that decision for yourself, because that's showing yourself that you love yourself. When you stay in situations that are no longer healthy for you, you're not loving yourself, and that just was a situation that wasn't healthy. I wasn't myself. I didn't even know who I was, It was like I had to find me. We co-parent really well together now, but but at the end of the day, I had to do something that wasn't it was not popular. Separating and then divorcing is just not what you
and can we stop trying to define ourselves by whether we married or in a relationship or not, or engaged?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially
because that's and again, like that shows like insecurities. Like I'm being transparent. I obviously had some insecurities within myself to be in a situation going in that I knew wasn't going to be right. But that's unpeeling the layers and being real with yourself. Like if you can't be real with yourself, you're not going to have authentic relationships with other people. So for me, self-love is making those unpopular decisions, but it's for the greater good of you, which will in turn be for the greater good of other people. But to get into the studious part of it, It says self-love is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support your own physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. So how do you guys, like, based on that definition, like the physical, the mental, I mean, I'm kind of ad-libbing, like the spiritual, like all of that. How does that, how do you show yourself love in those areas of your life?
Do you want to go first or?
Nigga, why the she loved doing that shit to you. Sure, like for my physical, okay, so I am type 2 diabetic and I had to learn how to take care of myself differently, right? To show myself love. Like when I would be stressed, it's like, oh, I'm gonna drink a soda. Like, bitch, you know you can't have soda. Like you ain't showing yourself love if you drink regular soda. Like, so even down to like the most minute of things, you know, when it comes physically, showing myself love. Like I walk now, you know, because I gotta stay right. I mean, my A1C is good, you know, now, but that's because I had to get to that place, you know, 10 years in of this, you know, dis-ease. I had to get to a place where I was like, no, I gotta show myself love physically, and take care of my shit. Like I changed my diet. I'm only pescatarian now, so you know, it's just learning the things that work for you. I ain't saying everybody go pescatarian, like, because that shit might not work. You might have a shellfish allergy. Like, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling y'all to run out and go change your diets and stuff like that. But what I am saying is like just knowing yourself enough to show yourself love through different areas. But by this example, physically, like those are the things that I knew I had to do. Like stop drinking the shit you ain't supposed to have. Stop eating the stuff that you ain't supposed to eat. You know, and it's a journey. Walking, you know, I'm not a gym rat. But I like to walk in nature. So that's what I do also to show myself love, you know, go back to the source, right? All the elements outside, that's helpful too. But anyway, okay.
Okay, promise.
Okay.
Not you volleyballing it to somebody else. Look how she loves to get out of shit, right? But I would love to hear what Promise has to say as well. Thank you.
So, okay, physically, I guess I'll also speak on that one as well. So, you guys, I have a therapist, right? And me and my therapist have been talking
I'll talk
about...
to the therapist.
Right? I'm a social worker too. I saw that you were a social worker.
Yes, yeah, I am.
But we're getting into like mirror work and stuff like that. And I literally had to stare myself in the face and see all the things that I don't like about myself. And so I'm trying to like change how I perceive myself physically. So like things about my face that I didn't like and things about like my eyebrows, and as small as it seems, it's really not like on the scale of self-love. Because those insecurities definitely come out when you have to deal with people every day and they're like reflecting back all of those things that you don't like about yourself. And so physically, I feel like that's how I'm learning to love myself. Standing in the mirror, looking at myself in the full commando, like and learning to like love all the things that I don't see perfection in. So that's what I do to kind of love myself on a physical level.
That's beautiful though. It takes a lot to get there, right?
It really does. So one thing that I do for like self-love is I'm not on the mirror. You know, I said that earlier. So whatever notes your therapist, go ahead and shoot me a text and let me know whatever works for you. I don't mind, you know, I don't mind the good feedback. I'm not on that level. But what I actually do is I thank my mind, I thank my body, I thank my everything, like all my organs, I thank my shadow, I thank all of it. I appreciate those things about me. Even when stuff that I don't like about myself physically, I'll always take a look, like the cellulite on my legs, right? I'm like, oh, but these legs, they can do some things, okay?
Wait, is this what we talking about here? Okay.
Anyway, when I have something negative to say about myself, I'll always think of like, well, what does this do for me? Like, this actually does this for me. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to, like, whenever I have like a negative thought about my body or my self image, because I've had body dysmorphia since I was like 13. Probably before then, because Spanish people, they really don't know how to, like, yeah, I'm coming for you, fam. You watch it. Okay.
Not the family.
Yeah,
I haven't I didn't co-sign. I don't know y'all, you know.
No, they don't even literally say what's up to you. They first walk, wow, you got fat. Like, well, you one Snicker bar away from a heart attack. Like, why are you coming for me? Like, really though?
The honesty, like, why you?
You know, can you actually say hi to me? Can you actually say hi to me though? You know what I'm saying? But I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows who you are, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I just do stuff like that. Like, even like when my mind, before I go into like a meditation, I always thank my mind for slowing down and for allowing me to like process stuff. So it's stuff like that I tell myself, because before I used to have like a lot of negative self-talk where I would be like, damn, why can't I do this? Oh, I can't stand my mind. I can't stand my body. I can't stand this. So now I just say, thank you for calming down, and thank you for giving me the serenity that I need. Thank you for helping me understand myself better, because without you, I wouldn't be able to know who I am today. I'm still learning from myself, you know, and learning who I am. And I think that's like we continuously evolve and continuously grow. But on the self-love journey, that's where I'm at.
That's dope though. I mean, like, it's layers and levels, right? You know, to the self-love journey. So, and where you are today, tomorrow you could be in a totally different place. Like, that's the beauty of it, you know. And wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Just whatever lessons you're learning are bringing those blessings to you. Because like, even like when we're talking about like, just to kind of delve in a little bit deeper, like when it comes to self-love, speaking positively to yourself, right? The inner voice. When I think about self-love and like that inner voice, what happened? What you say, Promise?
When you said the voice, I was like, oh God, like that's what I struggle with so bad. I'm a Virgo, so.
Oh, listen, me too.
And I'm a rising.
So I know the pain when it comes to Virgos. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, whatever you say, we probably say it to ourselves 10 times worse. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever you say is like, nigga, I'm probably my worst critic. Yep. You know what I mean? What you say ain't really hurt me, because I'm hurting myself speaking, you know, poorly about myself. Am I, you know, I mean, granted, I have evolved on the journey, but it took a long time to get here. No, I ain't perfect at all, you know, by far. But as we've said in earlier episodes, like, we are perfectly imperfect, or imperfectly perfect, however you want to say it. That's who we are. And when I think about like the God power, and these are my beliefs, I know everybody doesn't always have the same beliefs, but you know, when I think about creation and, you know, us coming from source, right? If we are an extension of source, but our inner dialogue, we are ripping, we are cursing out God. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're having this inner dialogue that's so negative, we are really defaming our creator, because we're having such negative thoughts about ourselves. But anyway, that's my soapbox. I'll get off.
What is your, if you don't mind me asking, what is your inner dialogue like? I know
she has a whole she's like a whole alter ego to me. I named her. Her name is Perfect Patty. And
I love it.
I got the name off of the Tyler Perry movie, where you see Janet Jackson and she's tearing stuff up and like beating stuff down with the baseball bat. Like, that's Perfect Patty in my mind. And I feel like she's just trying to protect me with what she's trying to tell me, but it's more harm than good. So my inner dialogue has evolved, but we still not there yet. We still not there yet.
Yeah.
She'll say stuff out of the random, like about self-worth, or if someone says something, she questions me and say, well, why do you say that? Or why do you feel like you portray yourself in that manner? So I appreciate her for the protection and the way that she forces me to look at all sides of things.
Mhm.
But oh, she a beast, bro. She's a beast.
Well, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that be naming my parts.
Yo, I saw can I say this, ChiChi?
Hmm.
So, like through our ascension journey, we've been, growing our psychic abilities, right? So
Oh, damn. All right, yeah, go for it.
one day I was in meditation and I saw this thugged out, like, Latina chick with corn braids. And I was like, oh, she looked like Sarah. But she was like, don't fuck with me. Like, don't fuck with me. Like, she had that look tatted up. And so I called ChiChi like, yo, who is this girl that looks like you? She got cornrows. She got a wife beater on. She looked like she ready to set it off. Like, oh,
That's Priscilla. You met Priscilla.
she's your shadow. Okay, yeah. I was like, yo, she ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah, she really is like set it off. She will set it off anyway.
But that's still loving all parts of you, though. Naming that person, because we have to personify it in a way, right? So it makes sense to us. Who is this person? It's still a part of us.
Yeah. And I don't villainize her anymore. You know what I'm saying? I was
scared of her.
Yeah. I used to villainize her. I'm like, yo, I'm so glad you're on my team. That's what I'm talking about. Before I was like, listen, you only get one strike. After that, Priscilla comes out. I don't know what to tell you because I'm not here anymore. I'm gone. I got to tell you, but ahead of time. I warned you. Girl, it's so bad that my kids would know when Priscilla came out. My daughter would be like, Priscilla's out. Everybody got it. It's a damn shame when your kids know you shadow.
For real.
Look.
You came through like Eve on what was that barbershop? Who drank my apple juice?
Oh Lord. Oh my God. And I was gonna mess up anybody that drank my apple juice. Yes.
Priscilla came through, guns blazing.
You see how when she fell in love though, how it melted all the way. It was just So let's talk about love in friendships then. How do you practice self-love when it comes to family and friendships? How do you guys practice that?
Promise you got it.
I feel like the first thing that came to mind when you said that is boundaries. Like boundaries. For me and my family, I'm the baby. So, they just say whatever, they do whatever and it's me coming to a place where self-accepting, like accepting myself and then setting boundaries for myself to speak up and also like showing compassion. I feel like everybody has like their own level of comfortability and learning myself more and like delving into myself, I'm able to identify like maybe what stage they're at or like how to kind of deal with certain type of people. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. So it's like extending grace.
Yeah, extending grace. Extending grace when people do things that, maybe you don't really appreciate in the moment, but like having grace for that and like putting yourself in their shoes or understanding, okay, you said something that really hurt my feelings, and then going back and reviewing with myself like, okay, well, what did I say or what did I do? Or in a different situation, how did I also play that role? Because tables
taking accountability.
Ooh, yes, I like that.
Taking accountability, because 9 times out of 10, everything always comes back around. So I was just saying, understanding that tables always do turn. And so giving the person on the opposite side grace, because knowing that when I'm in that position, I'm also want some grace. So
yeah.
So when do you know when not to give grace? When do you know when to put up the boundary? I'm gonna challenge you on that one.
I would say, as long as I'm not betraying myself, like if I know, okay, you know that you ain't supposed to be doing this, or if I feel like saying yes to something is something I know doesn't sit well with me, then finding a way to do that where maybe either both parties can still be happy, or in a way where I feel a little bit more comfortable. I hope I'm explaining that.
Yes. Keep going.
But yeah, that's what I feel.
I was gonna say. But I just to piggyback off of what you were saying, the promise about like, extending grace, right? We can still hold space and extend grace to people, but it doesn't always mean like, like when ChiChi said, like, okay, what about family and friends? Like, we can extend that grace to them. We can hold a space for them, but it doesn't mean that our relationship may be either what they want or even what we wanted it to be, right? But we can love from afar, we can love from afar.
I'm still working on the learning grace, because my grace be like,
you be well into your shadow. Shadow be deep into the fight. Like,
be real, right? I'm gonna be vulnerable.
We knocking.
Box class, want a good time with some Reiki right before I might just fix you.
For real.
I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second, because I feel like one of the reasons why I felt like I had split as I was getting older and stuff. And I felt like one of the reasons that I had split was because I extended too much grace. I gave people too many chances. I didn't have the boundaries up, that I should have. I say yes to things, just like Promise was saying, to things that I really didn't want to do. Like now I'm like, I don't care what it is. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it, period. I'm not going to walk around with resentment in my heart because I'm aggravated that I made a choice to do something that I didn't want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm working on that. Like, that's part of like my healing journey, because it really made me like completely want to just detach from that part of myself, because I would extend way too much grace. I would either go from black to white. I'm giving you too much grace, or I'm just cutting you all the way the hell off. I'm still learning on this self-love journey how to be compassionate, how to really and people that I may not speak to, or before I started ascending, I used to think back, I'm never gonna get over that. But screw her kids, screw her mom, screw her
not the babies.
Screw everybody in the damn family. Like, I don't care. I don't care about none of that. Like,
not the lineage and the baby.
No, the whole lineage and your ancestors. How about that? Through the whole bloodline. I'm done with it. But as I started like the self-love, it was like, just like you were saying, Promise, extending that grace, and then realizing like you was at that place where the tables may turn. So I don't see myself being so dramatic to the point where I cut you off like that, but I will take some time and like back up and be like, okay, you know what? I'll revisit this, and I'm not going to say screw your whole family and your whole lineage and all that other stuff. But depending on how I feel, though, I'm not going to go against how I feel. And I think that's like the biggest part of the self-love journey, is like really knowing who you are and really accepting the feelings that you have towards something, And if it's not making you feel good, if it's making you feel some type of way, you should remove yourself from it. And even if it's, maybe it's not even the person, maybe it's the person is triggering something within you that you need to heal and you need to take a step back. So I didn't understand that before. I just thought your energy don't rock with me, I don't rock with your energy, so let's just go separate ways and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's, and if I do cut you off, then I release you with love and light, and I wish you nothing but blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna like be like, well, I don't give a damn about you. Like, nah, you either which way, you came into my life and you taught me a lesson, and I'm appreciative of it.
And even like when we think about how we attract where we are, right? Or maybe a cycle we've just completed.
Not Shady Sheeta coming out. Okay.
Nah, I'm just I clearly done been all up and down the rung, okay? I'm not being shady. Like, it's me too. That's why I said we attract, you know, like you were saying, Promise, like, what is it that this person is showing me that I need to work on? You know what I mean? Or what behaviors am I, you know, displaying that's being reflected back to me? You know what I'm saying?
I want to say, like, with all her resistance about being here, she done spit some words today. Okay, can we
For
get
real?
This is why y'all need to go follow her and watch her stuff, okay? Because she be spitting.
You've definitely been called to the front, girl. To the front of the class. Yeah. Promise. Somebody used to be like, who, me? You like the only Promise in the class, like.
Right.
For real.
I was every time, unfortunately.
Yeah, that never worked with you, huh? You couldn't say, oh, who, me?
Like, right. It was definitely only you. Which is beautiful, though. That's a beautiful thing. But anyway, so, you know, like back to the self-love journey, and we were talking about like the inner voice, right? So take it way back to the beginning of that. So showing yourself love by talking highly of yourself, but also still being honest, right? You know, you can have an inner dialogue. Huh?
No, I said yes, because some people's inner dialogues just be straight lying to them. Like, no, that's not what you're saying right now is not what's happening. Yeah, anyways. But yeah,
but we're not talking about disillusionment, right? Like we speaking on we speaking factually, right? So when we are being honest with ourselves about like all of us, right? Like, you know, like ChiChi was saying, like the light, the dark, the lower self, the higher self, you know, the ego, like, you know, we have to be all encompassing when we have this inner dialogue, but still appreciate all parts of us.
I think it doesn't help either that society really has, especially for women, we are constantly like, I saw this thing where they had this, I don't know what it was called, but I was scrolling through something and they were saying that statistically, when a woman sees another woman, even if they are the quote unquote what society deems as ethical, they have 30 seconds of depression looking at that person.
Wow.
30 seconds of depression. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That is
like, why do you think that is though? Like,
I just think like the beauty standards, they're always changing. It's back to like, you're always chasing something instead of just really loving and embracing who you are. And putting a standard for yourself as I am beautiful. I don't have like, that's society's beauty standards. That's not my beauty standards. Like I am, you know what I'm saying? And I think people are beautiful in their own way. But there's just so much, like, you can't help as a human being to compare yourself to. You really can't. It's not something that you're consciously doing. It's just stuff that we've been programmed to believe. And then when you see it over and over and over again, you know what I'm saying? It just becomes a thing. And then that's when that inner dialogue can turn on you and you just really be like, I should look like this and I should feel like that and I should be like this and I should have made these choices and my life should be like this right now. And look, like, no.
Go down a rabbit hole.
Nope. That's why I keep my social media short.
Yeah, but that's about, self-love is also knowing yourself, right?
Yep.
And peeling the layers, looking at the parts that are not so pretty.
Yeah, I think for everyone, like, I think the hardest thing to do is to be yourself. That is the hardest thing. Even for, like, I don't know, Halle Berry or Beyonce, or they all have things that they wish they weren't. Everybody has their insecurities, or they always wish they were someone else or had someone else or could do something that they physically innately maybe not be set up for. So I feel like that's just a part of being human, and like learning to love yourself, learning to feel comfortable as yourself. I feel like from a main character standpoint, that person never truly sees all of who they are, or like can appreciate themselves fully like other people can from the outside. So yeah.
And it's so true, because like even when you were breaking down what was it, last Christmas?
The last holiday?
The last holiday. When you were breaking that down, it's so crazy, like how we could view her, right? And you were breaking down all these things, and just watch any movie that you watch, right? The main character, they don't see. I was just watching Hunger Games, right? I love Katniss. Like that's my girl right there. Anyways, but she didn't even see the strength that she had within her. Everybody else, you watching a movie, you like, damn, like, yo, she bad. Like, she got this. Like, yo, she's definitely gonna win. You never watched it? Like, you gotta watch it. But it was crazy, because it's so true what you said. Like, the main character stuff, like, half of the time you don't realize, like, what everybody else sees about you. And another thing, please, some people that have high self-esteem or they appear confident, can we just give them compliments, please? Can we just start doing that? Because I don't think, like, because of what you just said, it's so true. Like, people don't realize those things about themselves, and people automatically assume, oh yeah, they know that they look good, or they know that they're sweet, they know this, they know that. No, sometimes people need to hear it. Like, it's just nice to hear. Like, just say something nice to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
compliments are free.
Yeah, for real. And I really love the main character analogy, because that right there is dope. Like, it's so true. Like, we don't ever really see ourselves, which is probably why our higher selves be getting on top of us all the time.
But we forgot, though, because we had to go through that veil of forgetfulness.
I'm still struggling with that right there. I don't understand.
When we came through the veil, it was like the data was wiped out. You came and you started on ground zero.
For real.
And then you got all of this programming. Sometimes the program might have been kind of up a little bit. So yeah. So then you gotta, reboot the computer and, refresh, restart some stuff, throw some old stuff out.
Yeah. So
some new stuff in.
Let's tell them some ways that we practice self-care.
So I mean, when I first met ChiChi, I would like, we'd be on the phone and stuff, and she's like, "Girl, where you at?" "Oh, I'm taking myself out on a date." Like, what? You go out by yourself? Yes.
I loved it. I was like,
and when I say like,
that's how you
I would just be going to, saying McDonald's. No, I'm gonna take myself out to a nice restaurant, because I want to treat myself well. You know what I mean? And even if it's like, affordability, like, you can't afford the quote unquote fancy restaurant, you can still take yourself out to free places. Museum is nice. You know what I mean? But just dating myself is something that I have been doing on my self-love journey, and this journey never stops. Like, you always have to love yourself, so for me, that's just one thing that I do, to show myself some love, just take myself out on dates.
Yeah, it's dope.
I paint my nails. I love to that's my self-relief. Like, I just love caring for myself in those little teeny ways, like painting my nails or taking extra time to like do my full facial routine, or taking that little bit of extra time to sit in the car and just be silent before you go inside and you have to deal with like all the craziness of work or life, or just those few little seconds of silence. I'm like, oh, I'm finna be real selfish. Or those moments where I go get something to eat and just sit in the car. Y'all, those are my favorite type of like self dates. Just being in my car and turning on my phone and watching something on YouTube while I'm eating like one of my favorite guilty pleasures or something. That's my favorite. Yeah. What about you, ChiChi?
Well, I I'm creative, so like anytime I like to do nail stuff, I like to do I like to paint, I like to draw, I like to do a lot of stuff like that lets me pour into myself. And I'm constantly like with my inner child. Like that's something that I didn't realize was part of like all of like the self-care or whatever, but like I literally walk with my inner child holding her hand everywhere. So I think in like the mind of a child, as much as I can be dark, right? If you see the way that I move throughout the day, I'm a big jokester. I'm like I don't try to take things too serious, and I'm always conscious of the little girl that's within me. So it's like, okay, well, what does she want to do right now? Okay, and every time like I pour into myself in that way, it always makes me feel so uplifted, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to take on the world, let's go. So I just do stuff like that. I watch cartoons, eat cereal. You know what I'm saying? Before I go to sleep, I'm like, okay, what are we gonna watch? Wish Dragon? Yes, for the 15,000th time. Yes, we're gonna watch Wish Dragon. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it, okay? Like, but yeah, so I do stuff like that. I did take out myself on a date recently, and I was like,
damn. Were you a good date?
Oh yeah, I'm a good date. Yeah, I have a lot of fun on my dates, but yeah, like
what did you do on your date?
I just ate, and I listened to, like, I watched a YouTube video, but it was funny because like if it wasn't for like me having like confidence, I swear I would have left.
Wow.
Because the lady comes up to me and she's like, oh, okay, I don't want to bother you. Then I see the chef come out from the back, and he comes on, he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. It's like, is the food good? Yeah. Like, I felt like everybody was like looking at me like, oh, like,
oh, she's by herself.
here, like,
that's terrible.
Here, like,
but that makes you reflect, right? Like, how much people don't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a projection. If somebody feels sorry for you that you're alone, what's wrong with being alone?
I went to IHOP, okay? I didn't go to a bougie place, okay? I went to IHOP. So when I walked in, I was expecting like a lot of people or whatever, but it was dope because there was like nobody there. So I was like, this is even better, I go inside, and first person, she comes up, she's the waitress or whatever, and she's like, oh, okay, I see that you're, like she understood my vibe, right? Yeah. But then you see the dude come from the back, and then another dude come from the back, and then I'm like, listen, I'm not sad or lonely. Like, she gets it, she understands it, okay? Like, but I mean, yes, I'm a great date, and I'm a cheap too.
Hey, amen to that. Wherever you can, wherever you go, is where you meant to go anyway. That was a vibe that day. IHOP was the vibe.
Yeah, and it was crazy, just like realizing, why is everybody looking at me crazy right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't have the confidence in me at that point, I would have been like, okay, let me get out of here. It was like they were waiting on. I literally came in and said one person. One. You know how they ask you?
That was the trigger word.
They ask you, how many people?
They were for one. What?
No one else. Now, if I would have said two, and then you see another person's cut there, and ain't nobody there, then you can be like, oh but I said one. Why is everybody looking at me crazy?
Oh my gosh.
It's a great date though, other than that.
Well, I was gonna ask, actually add into like, in doing self-love things, like I think mental health is a good, way to show yourself love as well. Whether you're in therapy or, you see a psychic friend like ChiChi, have therapeutic conversations. You know what I'm saying? I think, taking care of your mental health is a big part of self-love that, we definitely need to tap into. And don't go around the problems that you have, you know what I mean? And I don't want to call it a problem, but the areas of opportunity, that you can improve on mentally. So one of the best ways to show yourself love.
Facts.
Yeah. So I want to ask, either of you ladies can jump in. What do you love? Well, one of the things that you love most about yourself.
I don't want
not the quietness.
No, because I got a lot to say. There's a lot of things I love about myself. But, Promise, did you want to go?
You could go. Go ahead.
I love my charisma. I love that I can take things serious, and I can always have the joke part of it come out. You know what I'm saying? I can have a serious conversation and it doesn't have to stay serious. I love my personality. I'm still working on the outside. Okay, there's still things, I'm grateful for. I ain't gonna say I love it all the way, you know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for. But I love the way that I can make people feel, especially when you're around someone that is really feeling down, and to be able to have, those words of wisdom, or just give them a hug and they feel better. I love being able to be that person that does that. So I love that about myself, that I can do that. I love my strength, my resilience, my courage. I'm still working on some things. I was gonna say, but that's for my therapist. But yeah, those are things I love about myself.
Promise.
Oh, and what a good mommy I am now.
Oh, okay.
And becoming a better wife, but
Ow. What about you, Promise?
This, I will be 100% honest. This is a little bit hard for me to answer.
Okay.
Things that I love about myself. The first thing that comes to mind is probably my humor. I love that I laugh at almost everything, to the point where I'm dark humorish. I will laugh at a funeral, and it comes out in the most inappropriate ways. But I love that I try to do my best to make light of situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful, though.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it can also be offensive to people.
Not laughing at Granny funeral then.
I did that. Don't feel bad. My uncle was like, "What are y'all laughing at?" I was like, "Yo, we're not laughing. Listen, I will leave that die. That's not why we laughing." And I told him what we were laughing at, and he started laughing. He was like, "Shut up, y'all got."
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Promise. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But so my humor, I love how creative I can be when I really tap into my creativity, and I allow my childlike self, my creator self, to just do whatever. And I love those aspects about me. I love intangible things about myself. It's nothing physical. Not yet. We're working on it. I'm working on the physicality part of it. But yeah. What about you, Rashida?
Mhm. You see, I like how you called her out. Yes, right. Get her.
Where's the list? No, I'm playing.
Not the Leo energy. Get out of here, girl.
I know. No, that's the Leo. No, but I really am just loving being by myself right now. I've had to embrace that painfully, but I've learned to love to just be with myself, you know. I love my sense of humor. I love my love for my children too. Like that's just something that I feel like is just immeasurable, you know. And I love working in mental health, and helping people have their breakthroughs, getting them to that next, the next stage and phase of their life. Because you just never know, like you could have saved someone, just by having that conversation with them, to allow them to open up. So that's one of my passions as well. And I'm also learning to love the creative side of myself. Like I was telling ChiChi before, like I didn't feel like I had a talent, but I had always been a writer in some form of fashion, and I just never really looked at it as a talent. I was just like, oh, well, I mean, this is something I do,
You said earlier, Promise, about the main character energy. She didn't recognize. I was like, literally when she told me that she didn't have a talent, I was like, are you asking me to boost your ego right now? Is that what we're doing? Okay, because I really didn't think that she didn't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because when, like, again, that's perception, right? So like my perception of talent was like, oh, someone that can draw, like an artist, or they play instruments, or they're a singer, you know what I mean? Like when I thought of talent, like writing didn't come to mind, which is a bad thing. So I had to like really dissect. So yeah, so those are the things that I'm loving about myself these days.
I love that. I'm glad you embraced that side of yourself.
Oh, thank you, Promise. Well, to kind of piggyback about like on the love about yourself, like what do you love about life?
What do I love about? I have a love-hate relationship with people, but I love when I'm able to be vulnerable with other people. I love that about life. Like where we can both have like a vulnerable moment and have a mutual understanding. I love that. I love nature and Mama Gaia. I love that. I love that so far, thank God. I keep getting chances to keep trying. So I love that about life, that I'm grateful that I wake up every day and I get a chance to try again. So
yes.
That's what I about life right now.
Amen. What about you, ChiChi?
So I used to have like a real like love-hate relationship with life. I'm learning to really appreciate everything about life, where I didn't appreciate it before. Literally this like the smallest things, I'm learning to love about life and really see it from a child's point of view. Because if you look at life through a child's eye, they look at life like everything is so mesmerizing, everything is so beautiful, and I used to always think about, like, if you took a person from the 1500s and brought them here, they would be like, yo, do you know what we're living at? Like, do you understand? Like, you guys take this stuff for granted. We don't even have none of this stuff, So I love how our souls are constantly expanding, evolving. I love how life gives you those lessons, even though that they're hard. Having those breakthrough moments, they're beautiful. You literally feel your whole body, just like you can feel the energy in your body changing as you're shifting. So I love, there's so many things about life to love though. Like, I love that I'm a woman. I used to always say, before God really screwed me, my kids were younger, it was like I was a single mom, 2 kids. I was like, in the workforce where they trying the hell out of me, you know, paying me $3 or $4 less than the man that's standing next to me that don't even have the qualifications that I do. Now it's like I love like being a woman. Life to me is so priceless and beautiful. And I think one of the things for me personally is that I always thought I was gonna die young. And I've been through 4 car accidents, totaled 4 cars on 95. If you don't know what 95 is, a highway that's known for a whole bunch of car accidents. And I lived through all of them and barely had a scratch on me. Well, one of them I had like a neck brace for a while, that sucked. But other than that, like, you know, but seeing life through that lens of I may not be here tomorrow helps me to appreciate the smaller things in life. This is why we incarnate. Like, as much as I used to complain, like, I don't want to be here, like, our souls want to be able to experience these experiences that life is only able to give us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very grateful for those things in life, you know, being able to have a family, being able to create from your hands, literally from your hands, like from your own hands, being able to come up with ideas. Life is just so beautiful. I'm in a place where life is just beautiful. I can't help it. I could be dark and everything, but you know, there's just so much beauty in everything. I mean, watching a rose blossom, so amazing. You know what I'm saying? So small things that we don't ever really like think about. You know, it's beautiful. Watching your children grow up, watching someone that is next to you, whether it's a friend, family member, or just a person that you don't even really know, seeing them have a breakthrough. If you go to like, you know, these plant, like how me and Promise met was through ayahuasca, you know, having that experience and being able to see someone else go through their breakthrough was so dope. That's something that you get out of life. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. Well, she expected me to go all dark on that one.
Well, to piggyback on what ChiChi said, you know, just appreciating about life, and also Promise too. Like, I really love going out in nature. It's so healing. It's so refreshing. Like, to have the sun on you, you know, appreciating that too. Like, because they're, you know, appreciating having, you know, my full body, you know what I mean? Because there's others, you know, like that would really appreciate just walking, you know. So just having that greater appreciation for the blessings that, you know, my higher power has allowed me to have, you know. And for my circumstances, like and I'm learning to love embracing the light and the dark. You know, the times that with the dark where things didn't seem like they were ever going to get better, you know, but then like seeing that little bit of light shine through, so that you'll know like it's coming, it's going to get better, you know. But learning to embrace that, because when you look at what you've been through, and we go through so much in this life because we are trying to ascend, you know, that's the goal, is to ascend to a higher level. And so we have to come here as like training ground, you know. Like, we getting you ready, you know what I'm saying? We getting you ready, you suited and booted, you ready to go. That's how it is, you know. Like, so I'm appreciating that part too. Like, before it'd be like, why I gotta go do this, I have a whole tantrum. ChiChi see me have a whole tantrum.
I wasn't gonna put your business out there like that.
Listen, I messed my altar up and everything, y'all. I had a whole tantrum. My ancestors was mad at me.
Okay, you heard that saying, right? You give a person an inch, they take a whole mile. You give a person a finger, they take the whole arm. I literally told her, yeah, it's okay to express yourself. So, you know, if you are upset with spirit, you know, let spirit know, like, listen, I'm upset. This chick is gonna call me. She's like, I just tore up my whole entire like, I will never do that again. Well, I could have told you that.
I never said that. Never told you to do that. I was like, But you said express myself.
Right.
I never said to do that. I was like, I wouldn't even do that.
I said, oh, well. So, yo, the ancestors mad. I'm like, I had to come to them like, I'm sorry. Here's an offering, some water, here's some food. But anyway, yeah. So, those are the things that I'm loving about life, is just that light and that dark, embracing it. And obviously, my babies, I mean, I love them so much. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like if we can change our perspective on the lessons that we're going through, I tend to now, before I used to be like, why am I going through this? Oh, what's the answer? What's the answer? Like, so I can get past this lesson already. Now it's more like, yo, I'm just gonna put on my seatbelt. All right, where are we going?
Where y'all taking me now?
All right,
you ain't even driving no more.
Can I get something to drink though on the way? Like, I'm thirsty right now. I just embrace it. Like, screw it. Like, I'm not even worried about like trying to figure out, oh, well, what's the answer to this lesson? Because I used to get really wrapped up in that. Now I just appreciate life for what it is, and I'm more excited when I'm going through a lesson. Like, oh, I know this is gonna be good when I get past this, because this was no joke. So yeah, I love that.
So to kind of piggyback on that, and this is like more of still in the self-love realm, but you said something about lesson. Mm-hmm. So this is also from the cards. What lesson has your biggest mistake taught you?
Promise, would you like to take the floor?
Oh. Yeah.
Not y'all wanting to skip the question though.
I don't know, y'all.
Damn, Rashida, you was ready for that one. You was like, oh, she said lesson. Hold on, let me look for that card.
You know what song I think of anytime I hear the word lesson now, I think of that song by oh my God. It's called Lessons.
Okay, Promise, you take the floor while she's trying to find
it. Take the floor.
Okay. I feel like I've had so many lessons, you guys, and so many mistakes.
His name is Eric Roberson. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I feel like I made so many mistakes, but let's see. I don't know. Somebody else go. Let me think about it.
Okay, girl. Okay. Well, one of my, and I can't say it's my biggest mistake, because I feel like a lot of the mistakes that we make are all kind of like grouped together. Like you continue to make similar kind of mistakes, right? By maybe the kind of people you are around, right? And maybe they didn't have your best interest at heart, but you were loving them so much, right? You were like, okay, girl, we're gonna just ride this thing out. And you continue to be in that, whether it's a friendship, whatever it is, right? And but something keeps happening. And it's like, okay, you ain't have my back in this situation. Okay. All right, then this happens. Okay, you ain't have my back in that situation, but you still keep going. You're going, and then it's 20 years later, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I should probably have learned from the first mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference between extending grace and being a doormat. You know what I'm saying? So that's a
so to
mistake that I've made.
Friend is, it's crickets for you.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, it's situations where you have continued to, like when we talk about insanity, right? Doing the same thing over expecting different results, so like sometimes extending your love and your grace, you know what I mean, can put you in situations that, okay, you ain't learn from this. So we're going to keep presenting it to you until you learn. Ready? and go. And it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And it's finally like, okay, once you get to that place of like, oh, I'm ready to listen, you know. So for me, it was like using discernment with specific people, like having to love from afar, you know,
Yeah.
not making the same mistakes when it comes to friendships, at least for me.
So, like promised, I've had a lot of mistakes. Whew, too many to count. What was the question again? The biggest mistake?
What lesson has your biggest mistake taught you?
What lesson has my biggest mistake taught me? I would say I used to always think about, if you play with fire, you're gonna get burned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through my biggest mistake, I learned that you have to actually go through the fire to actually learn. For me, that had to do with all relationships in my life. I learned a lot through relationships, friendships, relationships, but one of the biggest mistakes was actually that. And we're not going to talk about it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I allegedly did something. Allegedly. But what I learned from it was, I don't look at it anymore as a big mistake, because I feel like I had to go through that to actually get to where I am right now. You know, I had to go, and that's why I said, like, I was playing with fire. You know, you play with fire, you get burned. But I wasn't playing with fire. I had to actually like go through the fire to actually learn my lesson. And so it made me more conscious of doing things, you know, not sporadically or spontaneously, or, you know, just thinking things through. And then that actually like flowed into everything else in my life. Allegedly.
Had to let it go to let it flow and grow, you know.
All right, promise. Don't be trying to think that you out of it. Because hopefully I can ask another question.
Okay, so I feel like I had to learn to let go. And because I didn't let go of a lot of things, I kind of messed up a whole lot of stuff. And I feel like me being in love with people's potential, or like,
I love that.
That is
loving other people more than I love myself. Like that messed me up every time.
Oh, girl, you said that though. Falling in love with someone's potential. Woo!
Yes, it's like, 'cause y'all know how it is having the gift of vision and like being able to see, like, wow, this person has these gifts and that gifts, and like you are actualizing their potential and you're wanting this for them. But it's like having to let them go to allow them to discover what gifts they want to use is like the hardest lesson of all. Cause you can see, you're like, I see all of this for you. All of this, like, why are you over here? But it's like learning to let go of your outcome of other people, or I don't know. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
You be trying to be quiet, like, why?
Right.
What's the next one? Look at you. I already see it. What you doing over there? Not over there.
Well, I wanted to kind of go like, because it's in line with lessons, right? And you don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable disclosing the whole story. But what was the lowest point of your life and how did you recover? Because it's still in line with self-love, right? Like we have to learn how to show ourselves love even in these low points in our life, you know? So did anybody want to speak on, you know, what their lowest point was and how did they recover?
Point, yes, I will go first. My lowest point was when I was homeless. I had my mom, my two kids, And I don't know, I was in a space of like just working and working and working, and I burnt myself out, and then I got into like a deep depression, and I just didn't care about nothing. And it was one of my serious rock bottom moments, because I was just like, oh my God, we're homeless. Like, where are we gonna go? Ugh. Having so much responsibility laid on me, it really like took a toll on me. And I grew from it, because I knew I never wanted to be in that space again. I really had to go within myself and like realize how resilient, and like how I don't just take stuff and be like, okay, like, no, I'm gonna thug this out. Like, and then having everybody still looking at me like, well, what are we gonna do? Because you're the one. And I had to be like, yo, everybody, we're going on an adventure. We're gonna be sleeping in the car for a little bit. We're gonna be staying. And listen, this is an adventure that we are going on, trying to put the positive spin on it, you know. And I had to constantly tell myself that, because if not, I would have just went into a deeper, darker space. And it was crazy, because having that homeless moment and staying in that positive place led me to one of my biggest manifestations. And I was like, well, you didn't have to do it like that. Though. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to be done like that. You know?
For real, like we could have avoided that part.
That
like
whole part. Like,
why that part had to be in the story?
The biggest way that I recovered was I didn't beat myself up about it, because where I realized where I was, it was like, oh, I had to go through that. Like, literally, I had to have everything ripped out, taken from me, literally to the point where we homeless. I had to have everything so that I could start over and rebuild from an actual better foundation and start from the inside out. So it started, it really sparked like a lot of different things in me. And it really helped me to start learning how to go within. And I started looking into spirituality, because when you on your knees, that's when you be like, okay, listen, so can we make a deal here?
For real,
doing this, if you help me out with that, you know, that helped me a lot, you know. And anyone that's going through that, you know, my heart goes out to you, because I know it's not easy. And you know, I send out nothing but love and light, but just know that it's not going to always be that way. You know, this too shall pass. And just don't beat yourself up while you're going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's that saying, and I'm getting goosebumps saying it because I know somebody needs to hear it. You know, God gives the his strongest warriors the toughest battles. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's going through anything like that, or just anything that they feel that is too much for them, you're gonna get through it. And when you look back, you don't need to beat yourself up about it. There's no point. Like, just ride it out. And when you're done, you're gonna see how resilient you are. You're gonna end up being like, it's horrible to say, but like a cockroach. Them mothers last through a nuclear blast. Okay,
for real, they gonna be the only one surviving. They gonna come through like they gonna be like, what and what? I made it.
In the beginning, it was like, I can't believe I let this happen. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe. And then it was like, no, nobody has time for that. Like, this is where you have to bring in the positive Polly and be like, nope, I don't have time to beat myself up. I got to get myself together. I got to get my mental health right. I got to get everything together. And I looked at it more as an opportunity of like, I'm literally being cracked open and broken down to be built right back up. So I hate that, like, saying that, like, you know, a broken crayon still colors. Like, nah, I'd rather say like the broken crayon you can melt, remold, and make it into a brand new crayon. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt like. That's what helped me get through that.
Promise, you good over there? You still need a little time? Or you want me to jump in?
I think mine is kind of like ChiChi's. Mine was homelessness as well. But I learned something a little bit different because I felt like as I went through that space and time of homelessness, I was so angry. Like I was so angry. And I felt like I had to learn about entitlement. I felt so entitled. I was like, God, how you gonna let this happen to me? Like, I thought you was on my team. Like, what you doing? This is trifling if I ever seen it. Like the relationship with me and God, like I felt betrayed. I was like, wow. And I feel like Spirit really had to get me together and let me know, like, it don't matter. It don't matter. You not better than nobody. And I didn't feel like I felt better than anybody, but it was like I felt like I didn't deserve homelessness. And it's like things can happen to anybody. You are not so special that you don't have to go through stuff. And I was like, ooh, okay. So basically how I got past that point is to just put one foot in front of the other. Like I couldn't think too far ahead. I had to think about that day. Okay, how do I make it past this next hour? What am I going to do for dinner? What am I going to do for lunch? Like I had to think in small little increments until I was able to move forward. So what about you?
Yeah. Well, it gets darker. But yeah, you know, I was in a DV situation. And in fact, I had to, you know, get out of that situation and free myself, you know. So like from that situation, you know, I was in the hospital for 8 days. And actually when everything was happening, the final time when everything was happening, like I heard a voice come through and said, if you don't get out of this situation, he's going to kill you. And I was like, you know, like you, like Spirit speaks to you like through your heart space. So like that's where I felt it. And I was like, all right, I gotta let this go. Like,
yeah. And I'm so sorry. We forgot to like say trigger warning to anyone else that was out there for what we were even talking about earlier. So trigger warning for anyone. I'm so sorry about that, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, and while you put out the trigger warning, and I said DV, assuming that everybody knows what DV is, so domestic violence. So anyway, like I was in that situation and I was like, okay, well, I have to get out of this situation. And it's tough when you're in a situation where being a mental health provider, you know, the individual you're dealing with has a mental health condition. They have, you know, addictions. And like you're trying to, you know, like work through that because you know work-wise what that means and how to help the person and yada yada. But it's different when you're in a relationship like that, you know, so you're not approaching it from a clinical standpoint. You are in that space. And yeah, so, you know, and having to live in two worlds, right? Live in the world of I'm helping people and I also need help. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, while I was in that situation, it was hard. But how I recovered was remembering that voice that came to me and being fully transparent. Had a reading. Well, it wasn't even a reading. Like my ancestors just came through when I was talking to ChiChi. Like, yo, we here. Like my dad was there, my Uncle B, and my grandma Doris. Like they came through. Like, what's up? Yeah, they came through with the message, and my uncle was the one that was like, yeah, when you heard that, that was me. You know, so I felt like that was so dope, you know, just, I mean, I know I'm talking about DV, but I'm just saying like that I was like, I wasn't crazy. Like I really heard that message come through, and it was him like telling me like, yo, get the out. Like, that's it. You know, this situation is over. Like it's canceled. Okay. So, but that helped me through my recovery is remembering that, you know, from my own, now learning that my uncle was the one who said it to me, like, you gotta get out the situation. You can't keep staying in this situation. So but of course, you know, like surrounding myself, like what else helped me recover, like surrounding myself with, you know, positive positivity, going through therapy myself, you know, yeah, doing the self-care, self-love. You know, I had to learn who I was, or am, I should say, and who I'm becoming. So on a lighter note.
Next question. That was
right.
Need some water. Need some water.
I know, right? Oh, yeah. So like, I think just to kind of end it here, we can talk about, it's just make it fun and lighthearted. Honest opinions about each other. I'm just meeting Promise, so I still have to, but my honest initial opinion about Promise is she's a very warm person, very I can feel her heart space is like very open, but kind of like I've been through some things, so you ain't going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just let you in. I'm gonna give you a little bit of me, but I ain't giving you everything. But I appreciate that, you know, because to me that shows that she has that discernment. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna just be all open, you know, it's gonna take me some time. So that's what I'm loving, and you know, as I'm getting through here. So and ChiChi, my honest opinion about ChiChi.
Here we go.
She's my soul sister, though. You know what I mean? She's so family, you know, like just definitely like she's gonna love you hard, you know, like if you are there and y'all are together, like, yeah, she loving you hard, and she's gonna go to bat for you because she want to see the best for you, you know, and she wants to bring out the best in you too. So I really appreciate and love that about her. Obviously her sense of humor, and we just be cutting up all the time. Like I joke all the time. We're like, yo, we be doing shifts together. Like we could be on the phone for like 8-10 hours. It's ridiculous. Like I'm like, bitch, did we do a whole shift together? Yeah. Another one.
And another one.
God did. Right. God did. Yeah, like we be doing whole shifts together. But that's so, I mean, like, that's what I love about her, because like, you know, the conversation flows and we're growing together, you know, like she brings things to my attention that maybe I was trying to hide from. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I didn't really want to see that part of myself, but she brings it out and it's like, okay, here's the mirror, bitch. Just look real quick, take a glance, and I'll be like, ah. You know, but I appreciate that, because to me that shows like the love that somebody has for you when they can, you know, speak to you honestly, like, hey girl, I'm gonna confront you on this. Still love you though, but yeah, I'm gonna challenge you too. So yeah, but that's just a little bit of, you know, my love about you.
All right. So for me, so I'll start with Rashida. Rashida, I will say that okay, let me start with Promise. So when I had met Promise, one of my honest opinions about her was very similar to what you had said, Rashida, that she had she was like she gave you a piece of her, but they giving the whole thing. And I'm one of those people that I'm like, oh, I'm here. So you got the whole thing. I want it all. Like, what's up? Like, I want to know everything.
Ain't no bite size. Need a king size.
I want the sharing size, okay, where they're giving you an extra piece, you know what I'm saying? And she has very much the Tigger vibe. She has that Tigger vibe. She brings out that very playful side of you. And before I had met her, I wasn't really paying attention to my inner child. I wasn't really paying attention to those things that I needed to pay attention to, where I needed to just take life not so seriously. So that was like, that's just, you know, a piece of one of my honest opinions, and one thing that I love about Promise, because she really does look at, while she can have the dark humor, you can really look at life. She can look at life so playfully. And it helped me during my ascension journey. So going to Rashida, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my girl. I mean, we're also family. And we do shifts together, you know what I'm saying? But one thing that I will say is that, like, you know, Promise had to have time for herself, you know, and I really missed that Tigger energy. I really did. And Rashida came in just bouncing, and I was like, oh my God. Okay. Because Rashida has that Tigger energy, and she's very positive, and you know, the same way that I would challenge her, she would challenge me, you know, and I love that about her. And it was always like, there's so many times I was like, shut up, bitch, God. Like, you know? But it was in a good way. It wasn't in a, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't in a bad way. It was like, well, I'm just gonna, and she do it like sneaky too, like, oh, I understand what you're saying. I was like, oh shit. When she started to go, I understand, I was like, oh God, no. But every time we would have that conversation, it would always bring me to a place where I was like, damn, right. Oh God. Oh, girl, let me call you back. I gotta go meditate. I need some self-reflection right now.
For real.
But you bring that positive vibe, both of you do. I appreciate that so much. Especially being the darker one, you know, because I can go to the dark. Like, I need somebody to be like, okay, bitch, you didn't have too much time. Let's go.
Grab you by the collar. You like this, going, trying to pull.
No, you gotta go to the light. Let's go. That's one thing, you know, that's one of the many things that I appreciate about her as well. But yeah, I would say both of you guys are very, very heart space. Like, you guys move with your hearts, and I didn't realize I moved with my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had like the mask over the mask, and so I really appreciate that about you guys, is that you guys really move with your heart spaces, and that's a beautiful thing, because not a lot of people move with their heart. They move a lot with their mind, you know, and so those are just a little of the many things that I love about you guys.
Yes. Well, I feel like this was a really dope collab.
Wait, she didn't go. Promise didn't go.
Oh shoot, Promise. I'm sorry.
I gotta let y'all know, you guys are so amazing. I love, like, I will speak about you guys individually, but first I just want to talk about the collaboration, because it's amazing. Like, I love how you guys, one, Rashida, you're not scared of ChiChi. Like, you just gonna say how it is, what it is. And I love that, where I feel like I would kind of like, hey, ChiChi, like, I would be dancing around it. You would be like, yeah, no, you're not finna do that. And I love that about it. Yeah. And ChiChi, you, like, you're just, I love how both of you are just authentic. You're not afraid to be yourselves, and whatever that looks like you're just open. I love that. Okay, individually, Rashida, I love your energy. Like, from the first time that we spoke on the phone, it's just so open, it's airy, it's bright and like bubbly. I was like, oh, she's so cute. Like, I love your energy and like how open you are. And it's something so nurturing about you. Like, it's very, I feel a very nurturing energy from you. And ChiChi, Lord, I feel like me and ChiChi can just cut up. Like, and something about her is just, it's also nurturing as well. But like, I feel like she can tap into a person and see like what their strengths and weaknesses is, or like where they are, and then cater to that person to like help them grow spiritually, mentally. Like if you are a friend of ChiChi, you gonna grow, period, or your ass gonna get left. Either way, right?
Listen.
Growth from being left.
Yes.
Yes. So that's what I love about you guys. And I just want to thank you for having me here.
Yes.
So one more time, please tell them where they can follow you and see all your amazing content.
Okay, you guys, y'all can follow me here on YouTube at Oh So Shrill. And you guys can also follow me on TikTok at Oh So Shrill as well. Here on YouTube, what I do is like movie reviews or different things like that. And I channel messages through movies or things that I see in my day-to-day life. On TikTok, if you would like, you can follow me there. I do daily energy readings, past, present, future readings, and it's like little clips, but they might be able to help you just for like everyday daily messages. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that. And thank you for coming on. I'm really like, I feel like this was a really dope collab though. Like, you can come back.
Yes.
If you feel called to, or if something come up, because you know we're gonna be like,
yeah, so do you want
we got something else for you. Remember, you was called to the front, and your name, you the only promise we know.
Yeah,
you gotta answer to the call. But if you feel called to, though, no pressure though. Okay.
Yeah. So we just want to thank you guys for tuning in for another dope episode. You know what I'm saying? Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. You know what I'm saying? How you feeling? What you felt? What was the vibe? You know what I'm saying? We be trying to keep the vibes lit over here. We talk about serious stuff, but we also really want to be able to, not be so serious all the time too. You know what I'm saying? Life doesn't have to be taken so serious.
And we hit 500 subscribers too.
Yes,
remember?
And we hit 500. You know what I'm saying?
So that we giving something away for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we didn't get to do we didn't actually get to do the shout outs.
Yeah. So we got to shout people out who who've been tuning in.
Yeah. So we're so sorry. We'll go ahead and do the shout outs in the next episode. The ones that we didn't, but yeah, we love you guys and thank you so much for tuning in and showing us so much love and coming back. We appreciate that, and don't forget again to hit that like, you know what I'm saying, that subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Yeah,
go ahead and comment. Even if you just want to comment a little emoji, it just helps us out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, like even with the comments, like if you guys have different topics that you want us to touch on, please comment and let us know, or areas of opportunity, but be gentle, please.
Not to be gentle.
Yeah, we're trying to find a platform where you can like see everybody at the same time. So if y'all have a suggestion about that,
please do. Okay.
Let us know as well, because I know like on the platform we're using it only goes individually, but so I know that's something that we would like to do for you guys too.
Yeah, don't
have a little bit of a better layout.
For real. Don't be selfish with the wisdom. Go ahead and let us know.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love y'all. Bye.